Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and I saw Strange World. It was okay. Now, going into this movie, I didn't have the highest expectations. I didn't think the movie looked bad. In fact, some of the trailers every now and again got me to laugh at one of the jokes. The actual world looked really cool, and given that it was another addition to the Disney animation library, I was still kind of curious. It just looked a bit lower tier for Disney. It didn't look like it had the wow factor or that Disney magic that a couple of the past Disney films released in the past couple of years had, like Encanto or Wreck-It Ralph. And I hate to say it, my expectations for this movie were met. It is definitely lower tier Disney, but it's also not terrible either. It's just rather okay. On the positive side of things, I really liked the actual strange world the characters discover and stay in throughout the majority of the movie. I think the way it operates is cool, the designs of the actual world itself and the creatures that inhabit it are also fascinating and creative, and honestly, even for the most part, kind of cute. And there is a big reveal about what the world actually is that is revealed near towards the end of the movie that I obviously will not reveal because spoilers, but man, oh man, was it so cool and creative and just all in all a great reveal that it honestly bumps the movie up a couple points. The animation as well is typical for any Disney movie, rather top notch, though it does have a much more unique style and approach to it. The designs are much more simplistic and deviate a little bit away from the typical Disney style you've come to expect from the company, and there's a lot more emphasis on much more expressions and the squash and stretch and even the cartoony style. A lot of the designs of the human characters honestly reminded me a lot of the movie Smallfoot, and I think the similarities between the just how everything is animated in that movie and the look of that movie was also kind of translated well here, and I think that the movie really did a good job. I liked seeing the new style, and looks hopefully it leaves Disney to want to continue making animated movies that differentiate themselves from one another with various styles, and just overall the animation was really cool. Again, the world looks really nice and everything looks really colorful and vibrant. The movements are really fast and energetic and not too over the top to where it looks like everyone's made out of noodles. And it also helps with the emotional moments and the chase scenes as well, as it can slow down and make you feel and connect with the characters while also get you excited and pumped up when the action scenes happen as well. And there's also a really sweet message about accepting others for who they are, while also a pretty solid allegory for climate change, which I wasn't expecting. And it doesn't feel like other like environmental animated films where they hammer down your throat to where you get exhausted by the messages and the allegory. They do it in a really subtle and clever way that adds to the big reveal of the actual world itself. That was kind of cool. And I also found that the message of the film was also handled really well as well. Even some of the jokes got a good chuckle out of me. There are some times where just the absurdity of the animation to the delivery of the lines of the characters to how they play off of one another, or just the situations they get into, just made me laugh and chuckle every now and again. Not as funny or as consistent as other Disney animated films as comedy, but every now and again it could provide a good laugh or a couple of good chuckles. But unfortunately, we have to dive into the negative side now, as there are many issues with this movie that hold it back. The first being the story. I get what the filmmakers were trying to do. This is supposed to be a film about the relationships of fathers and sons, and I appreciate what they were trying to do, and I even liked the message they were going for, but it really wasn't executed well. They decided to focus so much on this aspect that it kind of steals the focus away from the actual strange world we're supposed to be observing and be amazed by. Instead, we're focusing more on the melodrama and the cliche by the numbers family stuff that we've seen time and time again that isn't really done in a special, unique way here, sadly. What also doesn't help is the fact that the movie takes a grinding halt in terms of the pacing in the middle part of the movie. It definitely starts to slow down, and you can feel the length of the movie during this part, especially compared to the beginning and the end, where they're really fast paced and energetic. It really does feel like the movie just grinds to a halt here, and you really do feel like the movie goes on for a bit longer than it should because of this section of the movie. Unfortunately, it causes the movie to be a little less interesting and less engaging. The characters in here, while also not terrible, I get what they were going for. In fact, some of them I found to be rather likable. The problem is that many of them suffer from just being really bland and generic. The three main leads, the dad, the granddad, and the son, are just your typical by the numbers dad, arrogant grandfather, and optimistic son who weren't awful, but I just didn't really connect with them at all. I just felt like they were just hogged down by the melodrama and the poor execution of the family themes. And I liked the wife and the comedic sidekicks, Splat and the dog, were pretty adorable and had their funny moments, but unfortunately, they're not really given much to do here. They're more sidelined to, again, the three leads who hog the movie down with their generic family melodrama, which is unfortunate. I felt like if they made these characters a bit more likable, or maybe gave a lot of the other side characters a bit more to do here, then maybe they could have been a bit more enjoyable as characters, but they were just kind of there for me, unfortunately. And lastly, I do feel that the comedy in here was really hit and miss. Again, like I said before, some jokes got a good chuckle, and even sometimes I laughed out loud during some of these jokes. But for the most part, a lot of the jokes felt forced, poorly timed, and just didn't make sense in regards to the movie. It felt like the movie was trying to be a homage to those early 70s sci-fi fantasy movies and shows you would get, but given the type of humor it is going for, it just didn't feel right. It felt really jarring and in your face and out of place most of the time. Again, some jokes landed, but there were also a lot that just fell flat. So yeah, overall, Strange World was just okay. It has some good things about it, like the strong message of acceptance, the allegory for climate change, the actual strange world being really cool, the very gorgeous animation, and even some of the jokes getting a good laugh here and there. Unfortunately, it is really hogged down by the weak story, slow pacing towards the middle, weak characters, and hit or miss comedy for the most part. If you are that curious or a Disney purist and just are like one of those people who just needs to see every single Disney animated movie, I guess you could go see this. It's not the worst thing you could see, but I wouldn't tell anybody to rush out to see this in theaters, and I would definitely tell them to, at the very least, wait till this drops on Disney Plus later this year. Sadly, this is not one of their better outings. It's not terrible, but it could have been so much better. And those were my thoughts on Strange World. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
I need to